Hey, what's up everybody? BDF 44 coming at you with another video. Alright, so I feel really good. Just got to making a Laker video on AV. Talked to my boy Farai this morning. Probably going to go over there around 2 o'clock, even though I don't believe they're going to start eating until around 5. I kind of want to be on this side of town before it gets dark, as I always often tell you. I don't really like walking around out here in the dark. I just don't. I'm out of bounds. But nevertheless, it's been good, man. I'm so thankful that I got people that have invited me to their Thanksgiving circumstance. I was just telling God just now about how thankful I am that I had people that want me to come over their house. And you know, I'm just very thankful. I got great support system that have gotten me through the most difficult time since my mother's passed, and it knows no end how appreciative I am of the love that I've been shown, given the fact that I live my life alone a lot of the time. But I got people that love me just the same for who I am, and I want to get better at loving others for who they are. Last night, I made a Jimi Hendrix playlist, and what I didn't know about Jimmy's music was that he sung the blues a lot. The Jimi Hendrix that I thought I knew of was a heavy twang sounding Jimi Hendrix, because the only album I ever had from Jimi Hendrix was the Jimi Hendrix Experience, and a lot of that is heavy, like that is what I thought he did most of the time. But when I start digging into his catalog, half of that music is the blues. So when I made my Jimi Hendrix playlist, when I had it in mind to start doing the playlist, I thought I was going in for one sound, and by the time I ended the playlist, I realized that I had a blues album. The first blues album I've ever done. And the funny thing about it was, a lot of what he was talking about is stuff that I felt I was going through right now with my homegirl KT. So it was really like eerie how that was turning out. As I was listening to that music last night after making the playlist, I was meditating, and I was telling God how much of a struggle yesterday was in that regard. It was a horrible struggle for me. I wiped my mouth, but it was a horrible struggle for me just dealing with yesterday for whatever reason. I couldn't really put my finger on it. Maybe it was because I went to go see my mother, went to her gravesite. Maybe it was because a combination of a lot of different things. I just felt like at the end of the day, once I realized, once I went and saw my mom, it just reminded me how lonely I was feeling about my homegirl Kay as well, you know, and her brother's buried there as well. So it's a lot of vibes that just kind of carried with me that made for yesterday to be a down day for my spirit and my mental health. Just very down. But by the time I listened to that playlist, I had kind of gotten to a space where I understood what I needed to do. You know, and it was reset my whole thought process in regards to what it is I'm doing. And I prayed to God. I prayed last night. I stayed up to about 4 in the morning. After I listened to that playlist, I didn't go straight to sleep. I was up till 4, and I prayed, and I just told the Lord I wanted to not have a day like that again. Not ever. Where I'm down about somebody else's energy not being in my life, or down about being alone, when I've created an environment for which to be alone and enjoy it. But when you have feelings for somebody and they have disappeared for whatever their set of reasons, you know, if your mind is like mine, I'm not going to put this on anybody else, you become dependent on what it is that they're sharing with you. And that's what I've been telling you guys the entire time, more or less. But that's not on her. She has to do what she needs to do to improve her energy. What I want to say is, I woke up this morning in meditation, and I told the Lord, you know, forgive me for being negative in my mindset yesterday. I had some energy yesterday that was no good for myself. Thinking thoughts that were just not positive on the friendship. Just really let my demons out. And I told the Lord I didn't want to do that no more. I didn't want to feel that way, and I wanted him to help me be strong enough to do what it is he wants me to do. And what he told me to do, more or less, was be silent as it pertains to my homegirl KT. See, what I wanted to do was reach out to her and have her reach back to me. And when she didn't reach back to me, I would continue to reach out as she would not reach back. The thing about it was, we had conversations in the past that made it so that if I were to take those conversations at face value, I would understand. And I've told you this too, so you guys are probably saying, yeah, that's what it is. That she sometimes is going to do that, but it doesn't have to be a reflection upon how she feels about me. It's just how she manages and copes with whatever her day-to-day may be. Sometimes she wants to be close, other times she wants to pull back, and that's just what she does. Now I can personalize that, and then from there, with the unanswered questions, getting my feelings about what I think could be possible, and that's what I do often with her. And then I get unhappy, and then I let those energies manifest from a molehill to an avalanche, and it gets bad for me. That's the mental health problem I have, one of many. But when it comes to her, it's like we've talked about how her mental health is going through some things. I don't know exactly where she wants to go with that, as far as how much of that she's open to address. I don't know that she feels or doesn't feel a certain way about her health and mentally. I don't know, but from afar, it looks like she struggles very much, and that's one of the things. Maybe, you know, she's hot and cold with people, and sometimes it reflects poorly. I said on this camera how I feel about that and this and that, but just like I always say about myself, if I were working from a position of strength mentally, I probably wouldn't make certain decisions. If I was in my right mind, so to speak, on certain things, it wouldn't be done. And I have to look and extend her that for certain based on her trauma, but maybe even more so for things that I just haven't discussed with her and that may be present or may not be present. Who knows? But you know, last night he told me to be quiet. Be quiet toward her. That's how you ward off the bad energy that her absence has provided. And that's also how you extend to her what it is that she needs from you. She don't want you reaching out over and over again when she's going into her cocoon stage, is what I call it, or her hibernation stage, where she needs to walk away and decompress from others. Or from me, specifically, maybe. I don't know. But it's not a reflection of her thinking this or thinking that about you or having anger about you or nothing like that. But the best way to honor that is to not back her in to circumstances where she needs to reach out or be guilty for not reaching back. Is a better way to describe that. Sometimes, by way of what we need, and this is a concept I've only thought of in my head. I've never heard this out loud or anybody else say this to me. But sometimes by way of what it is we want from others, we back them into being wrong for not giving it to us. Not to say that they're actually wrong. But like, for example, if somebody tell you, hey, I don't want to talk right now. Can you leave me alone? And then you call them an hour later saying what you desperately need and that will they help you. Maybe you do need that help, but they also too need that help. And that help is from you to give them the space that they've already told you they needed. So by way of what it is that you genuinely need, you put her in a position to not necessarily be wrong, but to have to choose whether or not she wants to feel bad for not giving you something that you need. And that's what I was doing. And that's what the Lord helped me understand last night. He's like, yo, or this morning rather, you be quiet. Because by way of you reaching out and her not reaching back, you're turning a mountain into a molehill into a mountain. With all the different insecure thoughts that you think. And you could potentially, though not confirmed, be putting her in a position to feel guilty for not reaching back when you already know, by way of conversation, that this is what it is that she does and needs to do. However that looks to you. If you're unselfish, you'll give her what she needs, not what you think she needs from you. Not what you want to give to her to fulfill your own needs for yourself. So he told me to hush my mouth. In no uncertain terms, do not reach out. Let her reach out to you. Before that message came, I told her Happy Thanksgiving last night, and I told her I forgive her for not reaching back, and that I was sorry for not having the temperament to leave her alone in a time where I felt she could use space from me. I apologized last night. This was before the Lord told me to shut up. But I had said my Thanksgiving because I knew that she wasn't going to likely want to reach out today. And so that was my thinking. I was just like, you know, I had that concept in my head already. Like, yo, you need to shut up. You need to stop reaching out. You need to leave her alone. And even in the dream that she came to me, in my dream, she told me to stop blocking her energy and to let her go. And it was like, I don't know if that dream was real or not. I had a dream when my mom came to me. She stood in front of me, and I was trying to interpret what that meant while I was trying to do a video. I told y'all about that. She stood in front of me, blocking energy. How does it feel to be blocked? You don't like it, do you? You don't do it to others. It's like she had blocked me, so maybe that was some symbolic energy for that. Blocked me on IG. She has since unblocked me, for which I really, really appreciate for my just mental health. And I haven't sent her anything in that inbox at all since she has unblocked me, other than thank you for unblocking me. I'm gonna honor that. She doesn't like too many DMs, just like I don't like her being away. We all need something from somebody, and I think she gave me plenty during the time when she wanted the space. She was trying a couple weeks ago when I know she was in that space, but she was still trying to reach back to me because I had put it under the camera in this channel, telling y'all that I really thought that, you know, when you hurt people of God, you end up getting karma, and if you do that, you end up burning bridges with people you really love. But that's pointed at a person who's supposed to be in my mindset, coming from a stable space of mind, not someone who's struggling with reaching out. And so that's what the Lord was telling me, like, you need to be quiet, because you're trying to guilt trip her by way of your own neediness from her, based on the consistency that she gave you when she could. You're not respecting her mind, or the damage or the scars that have come from her traumas, in a way that allows her to be loved for herself. You love her for you. You say you love her for her, but you're not showing that when you speak the way that you do. You need to be quiet. Give her the space that she needs. Let her heal away from you. Let her sort through being annoyed with you or whatever it is. You need to stop thinking that your closeness is going to heal her and heal you. Because what's actually being done is the enemy is using you reaching out to her and her not reaching back to you as a means of attacking you. And that's what the Lord was helping me understand. And yesterday it reached a peak. Is that if you would have gave her the space she needed and came to me for the strength to do so, you wouldn't get so upset at you reaching out and her not reaching back. You set yourself up, and you potentially put her in a guilt trip situation where she has to go outside of her comfort zone, get into the red, as I always often say with my mental health, for things that are stressful to me or what have you. For her, it may be reaching out when she needs not to. Putting her in the red by way of me, God, not me in real life, but him as I was meditating, to tell her that she needs to be reaching out to you. I'm gonna be mad at her. Not at all. I'm gonna be mad at you for telling her to reach out when you know damn well she needs to be away. And so that's really what it came down to. The Lord was basically scolding me, like, shut up, bro. Like, literally, don't say nothing else to that girl until she reaches back to you and she's out of that space. And he was telling me, I put my hand on my heel. He was saying, you need to heal and she needs to heal. He did one of these, basically saying that she has scars, and those scars are in place. And there's something else he was telling me. This was like he was cutting my throat. For the last 3 days, as I meditate, my hands move by themselves, and there's certain things that he does within me that I just learned to live with. I told you about the finger thing. Well, when I've been praying about her, he's been doing this. And then wipe it back. Like, cut it, but then heal it. And I'm like, what the heck does that have to do with the throat? I haven't figured it out. I have no idea what that means. But, yeah, this. Real eerie stuff. But nevertheless, you know, and it's a lot of energy that does ultimately help me understand that I need to cut it off, cut it out. All this reaching out to her and being upset when she don't reach back. When this has been a pattern of hers the whole time I've known her. You know what I mean? The whole time I've known her. Before certain things took place in her personal world that were traumatic. So it's like, okay, but I need to be able to trust you, Father, because I got these thoughts and in my mental health, this and all this stupid crap. And he was just saying, look, if you're going to do what I tell you to do, or you're going to get the consequences of not. And so that's what he's been telling me. You know, because it's not because I'm going to stop caring about her, or that I think she just is angry at me and that I just need to give up. That's not what it is. What it is understanding someone's mind and not giving them what you think they need from you, while simultaneously making sure you give from them what you need, but more so giving them what they need, whether it benefits you or not. And letting the Lord reward that unselfishness, just like the enemy's trying to attack that selfishness that is being done in the opposite way. So I committed to that this morning. I was like, all right, Lord, I'm not going to reach out. I'm going to honor that. I ask that you strengthen me. And with the time that I want to reach out, I'm just going to ask for your help. But since you've given me the closure from on high to shut my mouth in regards to this young lady toward her, I'm going to honor that in a way that I'm sure she's been waiting for me to honor for a while. Seriously. And I'm going to let you handle whatever happens from that. And that's the part I had trouble with. Just like I always tell y'all, I got to devise new ways of applying my faith. Do I trust God to do this, but I don't trust him to do that? Just like I did with the shares for a while. I could trust him in every area except for letting them shares go. Because if I let them shares go and that money goes up, I'll never forgive myself. It's like that's not trusting God fully. In this case with her, it's like, well, if I let her go, what if this, that, and the third in regards to away from me? Nah. You're not trusting God fully. If you're going to say you trust him, you got to trust him there too. So that's what it is. It's like, look, don't worry about what happens when you ain't around. Worry about what happens when you disobey me. That's kind of what the energy was this morning. You know, you're going to have the reverse effect. Just like we often say about certain things, you end up having the reverse effect of what it is you're trying to do by doing things your way. You think that you going toward the enemy is going to help you in what it is that you're trying to defend yourself against, when in actuality you're opening the door for what it is. Just like I was saying in regards to her in the video a couple of days ago when I was assessing her silence the wrong way, I guess, or assessing how I felt about that just in general if someone were to do it. It'll be the same thing I'm doing in regards to not trusting God when it's time to give her space, and worrying about how I'm going to feel without her, worrying about how things go when I'm not there, as if I'm there any damn way. It's just a bunch of insecure stuff that the enemy uses against me. Truthfully. And so that's what the Holy Spirit was helping me understand this morning in meditation. I sat in bed for about an hour, just asking him to help me, because I knew last night and yesterday I had the worst. It was the worst day I've had since being in North Hollywood as it pertains to my spirit. It was just off. It was off. All the way off. And it's just one of those situations where it's like, I don't want to take steps backwards. I don't want to undo all of the good that I've been doing here spiritually and getting close to the Lord just because I felt weak on a random day. And I don't think the Lord wants to throw that away either. You know, we've gotten close. So it's like, this is how I can help you. We wouldn't have been able to do this in the past, but now that you know me close enough in this era, you can learn to trust me when I tell you this is not checkers. This is chess, not checkers. And in regards to trying to fight the enemy as he's attacking you, you got to do some things in ways that don't come naturally to you. And when somebody tells you to, in so many words or so few words, to give me time and give me space and respect that space, and you continue to bombard them with intentions that you feel are great and of prayer, you need to understand that sometimes less is a lot more when people need space. And that she will learn to appreciate you giving her that space more so than appreciate those reaching out that you're doing. And so that's what the Lord communicated to me, and I committed to that this morning. Not reaching out. And so that's really what it is. And then I go on IG and I find out she hit me up on one of my posts. I had put a post down there saying, "Thank you, Lord. I'm thankful for you, Lord," or something like that, for getting me through the good and the bad days. And she put some words down there for me. So that was really warm. I appreciated that. But I look to honor what the Lord told me, man. I look to honor that. She knows where to find me. She knows I always want to speak to her. She knows I always have my channels here, as I told her in one of the things that I sent her a couple days ago. My channel's here if you ever need somebody. If you want to see my face, or you ever want to hear of someone who cares about you, you can watch any one of them videos. At any given point, I cared about you when I was making those videos. You know, that type of thing. But it's like the comfort that I think she needs may not be the comfort. It may actually be what antagonizes their energy and makes it worse. Maybe I'm spiraling her in some different way that I don't see. Just like her absence was ultimately spiraling me when I wasn't trusting God to take care of that. And it's just about trusting him. You just got to trust him, man. In the areas that you don't know, you ain't trusting him, because we're so used for so long, 39 years of age, doing things the wrong way for so long, not trusting God, thinking I got to handle this, got to handle that my way. Even though I'm trusting him in other areas, there's still certain things. It's like, nah. I don't even know how to trust him in these days. I'm so used to being in control of this particular thing, so ain't no letting go. And then he starts helping you understand where you need to. And so this is a training mode for me, just in my spirit, you know. It's a new relationship with God, and trusting him in regards to matters of the heart is a big one, because I never really did that. I was handling my past hurts, heartaches, very secularly. Very, very, very natural minded. And nothing good came of those. Nothing at all. And as I saw myself handling things that way yesterday, I realized that nothing good was coming of that either. And then I listened to my thoughts as I was feeling that way, and just realizing that they were deteriorating good energy. There was nothing good coming out of it. Just like I told y'all yesterday in one of my videos, she was good for staying away from me yesterday, because I was not the person that I needed to be. And it wasn't her fault. It was just the enemy attacking me by way of her need to take care of this in this way. And she needs me to understand that, and I wasn't, and I haven't been until today. Even though I did understand it to a degree, I didn't have the temperament or the motivation from which to follow it like I would like to, the maturity from which to follow that like I'd like to. And that's ultimately what I found. So that's what I want everybody to know, man. I don't care less. If anything, I care more today. And because of it, the Lord has given me a certain level of understanding of what it is I need to do for Kay. And that's stay the heck away. And to trust that God is not going to let my worst fears or anything that otherwise hurts me be in the way if I'm not present. If anything, I'll be pushing her away if I continue to do this. So I'm thankful for that understanding. And I look forward to hearing from her another day, you know, whenever she's ready. And I look forward to having this in mind going forward if I continue to know this person. So that what is proven doesn't have to be reproven as my doubt creeps in and tells me a bunch of stuff that ain't confirmed in any way. And that's what it is. Them attacks upon my spirit. Every time I'd reach out and say something, she wouldn't reach back, then I had to deal with that. But I created that environment by reaching out initially. In the first place, but I created the way for the enemy to cross that bridge by sending her good energy that was unwanted in nature, or confessing my thoughts about how I was unhappy about whatever the heck I got going on in my head that ain't her responsibility at all. And that's what the Lord was helping me understand in the shower today. It's not her responsibility to coddle your mind. It's not her responsibility to coddle your heart. She don't have to do nothing for you. Everything she does in your vein, in your way, toward you, is something that you should be appreciative of if it comes to you in a way of love. Because that is not her responsibility. She's not your wife. She ain't your girlfriend. And that is something that she ain't going to be if you keep on acting this way. That's what the Holy Spirit was telling me. You ain't going to get too much closer to her if you keep on acting like it's her responsibility to coddle your mind. So it's just a lot of growing up I'm doing over here, man, and learning how to love people for them, not loving them for me. And not just saying it, but actually putting it into works. And then living with the temperament of what comes with that as I let the Lord work out the certain things that otherwise I'd be fearful of for not. So that's what the Lord is teaching me, and I'm happy about that. I feel like I've gotten a clarity about that I haven't had at any point in time before this. Even though I've spoken of this wisdom, I didn't harbor it in my behavior or in my mind as a means of letting go and letting God. You can know you need to do something, but you may fear what comes with doing it, so you don't do it. That's kind of what that was in some ways. You may be unhappy with what it is that has to come with it, so you don't do it even though you know it's wise. Not trusting God. That's what that is. You don't beat yourself up for not knowing you're not trusting him. You just, when you figure it out, begin to. And so that's what it was for me in regards to the situation. So I'm very at peace. Now she reached out, you know. Because I committed to what the Lord told me to do, I'm pretty sure he was able to put it in her heart to reach out to me for Thanksgiving. I wasn't expecting her to. I was ready for her not to, and will have harbored positive feelings about that based on the meditation. But just like I told y'all in the previous video, if I wouldn't have been doing certain things, I believe, in regards to talking about guys on this channel and different things, I am almost certain she would have never fell into that space. That space had many purposes, and one of the main ones on my end was to send me spiraling into that space I was in yesterday. And it works the same way with God in the way that he wants to use people. If you start submitting to him the right way, he will use others to give you what you would otherwise most be blessed to have. Just like the enemy will use your attacks against the enemy, for which that Gaza talk was, me attacking him. He'll use other people's pain to try to reach you just the same. So that's what it is. It's like, I know for a fact if I wouldn't have been talking like that, she would have never walked away. The enemy pulled her away. And Lord, if I wouldn't have been so very willing, finally this morning, to do exactly what he said and not reaching out, I'm certain I wouldn't have saw that down there. She would have reached out. She would not have reached out. So like, this is just certain spiritual things help you understand that that's what it is you're dealing with. So whatever you have in your mind that's secular in nature, this is that, that's this is the answer to that, that's what's going on. And those are things that you got to ignore for what it is that is confirmed when you're spiritual and you know the Lord. So that's what I've come to understand, man. You can't really worry about the specifics of what's going on in someone's life. In my case, I can't be worried about what she may be doing or not doing, or how she may be doing or not doing. You just got to look at it from a spiritual standpoint and trust God there. Trust God there. You know what I mean? And I'm going to tell y'all like I was thinking about in the shower today. You know, I started to care for my friend Karen back when I was working with her at Temple. We lost touch for many years, and throughout the course of those years, I kept her in my prayers every day. Thought of her every day without knowing that she was going to be returning into my life. A long time ago, before she left that job, the Lord told me that that girl loved me. Before she actually did, it came to me in meditation no different than this did this morning. And I was like, no, she don't know me, and I don't know her that well. But I was thinking about her. I was starting to like her a lot back then. And he told me, she loves you. And I'm like, okay. We lost touch for many years. The only communication path I had to her was via emails. I think she had changed her number or something. We had stopped talking. Still prayed for her, put her on the list, prayed for her every day, all this. Never forgot what the Lord told me, never. She ended up getting back in my life some random year, right before my birthday. And we started communicating again and became good friends from there via phone. We only hung out that one time, maybe twice. I don't remember my birthday, and it was another time I think I saw her. I don't remember though. It's vague for me. But I would talk to her all the time, but there would be times where she would have to disappear, just like this. And it wasn't as hard on me as it is now. So it's not like this is abnormal behavior. She always come back around. She always disappears. It's just who she is. Even before things went bad. And so it's one of those situations where I grew to love her and she grew to feel for me whatever she does. After the Lord told me that, after I lost touch with her, we ended up becoming as close as we did well after the Lord had confirmed to me what he had. So that's what I want people to understand about this. I had already had not gonna say prophecy, but words were told to me upon that circumstance. That if I were trusting him the way I should have, would never have even doubted any of this all the way up to this point. He's been talking to me about this person. I've been talking to him about this person. And, she went through a really tough time right now. And a lot of times, her tough time is not in my mind when I'm considering what I need from her. The trauma that she went through, the scar that she went through, just how really difficult that was and how recent it was. Often the enemy is able to remove that from me, or I remove it from myself. However that goes. I think about me and the tough times I'm dealing with in this place, and how she oftentimes when I need her the most isn't there, but that's the enemy making me feel like I need her to do for me what she cannot do when she cannot do it. And he'll use that care that I have for her and that insecurity that comes with that absence to attack my spirit in ways that only can be done if I'm not trusting God and being unselfish in my willingness to let her be when she needs that. So these are things I wanted people to understand, man. From a spiritual standpoint, I told y'all about the coincidence that we share many times, where her mother, my mother, excuse me, and her brother are buried in the Garden of Chimes at Inglewood Park Cemetery. Don't quite know where her brother is. We're near my mom. I don't know where. It's a lot. When I finally went there, I realized how huge the Garden of Chimes actually is. It ain't as small as I remember it. There's at least 700 people in the Garden of Chimes, like literally. But the point is, they're both in there, and they both had the same birthday, having passed 8 years apart, or 9 years apart, or whatever it is. So like these type of coincidences, on top of all my feelings, on top of what it is I was thinking way back in the day, on top of all that, is still in place from a spiritual standpoint. There's something very spiritual about our friendship and our bond. And that's why I still intend to hang on to these feelings despite being in these spaces where I've been very unhappy with her absence when she leaves. It's what I hang my hat on. But if I'm going to hang my hat on it, then I got to trust that it's also God attached to it, and to hang my hat on him in the areas that the enemy otherwise attacks me. You know what I mean? So that's what I wanted to share with you guys, the specifics of that. And so I'm thankful for not only my friend Kay, of course, but for my relationship with God. That's what I'm most thankful for. She started sending me prayers on IG. That's one of the things that I was looking forward to continuing to receive from her. It wasn't just her words. She would send me prayers from different people that she would get on IG, send me positive things, stuff like that. I became reliant upon that. It helped me through the year. Couldn't have made it through this particular year without her. The last of Linux, she helped me all through that. Meditating, putting it in my heart to meditate more, putting it in my heart to continue to work out. A lot of that was energy that the Lord gave to her to give to me, that I became reliant upon. And you know, it's one of those situations where if people give you what it is that you become accustomed to, you think you can't keep up what they are giving you without them continuing to give it to you. But that's just not true. You got to trust God in those areas too. And so it's like those prayers that she sent were also more confirmation that our friendship was that of a relationship with God. And then I need to rely upon God to keep that friendship going. Not rely upon my own head, not rely upon her, but on him. And given the fact that I prayed so much for this person, given the fact she's on the prayer list, it's just one of those situations where now I understand even further what it needs to be done here. And put God first, like I always tell y'all to. Not put people first, not put vessels first, but put that for which the Holy Spirit is first, and he will divvy out the energy that's best from within you to give to that person, and to withhold what should be withheld for the betterment of that person, and vice versa. So that's what I wanted to share, man. I just wanted to give you all that. You know, I have a long way to go in regards to being okay with her absence and all of that, but I'm definitely in a much stronger space than I've ever been as it pertains to letting her have her space away from my nonsense and not allowing that space to make me feel unloved, unappreciated, disrespected, or uncared for. To be more mature in a sense to respect when somebody says, I need this from you. And so it's been a lot that this has taught me. I've also been angry in situations during this process, as I said yesterday, but I don't think that anger is returning anymore. I don't think so. I think the Holy Spirit has effectively given me the strength that he wants me to display in this situation. And so that's what I want to say, man. You know, I want to be a stronger person for God, a stronger person for Kay. And, you know, I want to continue to be motivated by the energy that she's already given, and even if she has to take it away. As I told y'all yesterday, you know, what has already been done is appreciated enough for me to be willing to offer that olive branch of trust to say that she's already proven she cares. So that's what I want to say, man. It's maturity. We're growing here. Thanksgiving Day. I'm thankful for all of you guys, of course, and I'm thankful for my friendship and whatever this will be built with Kay. I believe something good can be built, but only if the Holy Spirit is interested in that, and only, of course, if she's interested in such. Only that. So that's what I got to say. My name is BDF 44. I thank you all for watching.